this was never about racism. What's up, Great Nation? Gabe the Great back here again for another video. Hey, if it's your first time stopping by today, then we talk everything basketball. NBA, NCAA, NBA 2K, WNBA, EuroLeague, AAU, anything that has to do with basketball. If you like basketball and you like talking about basketball, then join in the conversation down below by clicking the subscribe button, turn on notifications, but let's jump right into the conversation. So last week I did a video about this new rule that the NCAA made about players and agents that everybody called the Rich Paul rule. Now that video was titled "What Everyone is Missing About the Rich Paul Rule." And in that video, I made the point that while everybody was hopping on the bandwagon of saying this is racist, I was making the point that I don't think that that rule was about race. That I think that rule was really about jealousy and power by other NBA agents. And the biggest point that I was trying to make in that video was that the NCAA wasn't the group that benefited the most from this new rule. That the group that actually benefited the most were other NBA agents not named Rich Paul. Because nearly every NBA agent in the NBA has a bachelor's degree, except for Rich Paul and maybe Uncle Dennis. And Uncle Dennis might have a degree as well. I haven't done research, so don't quote me on that. And now, less than a week later, due to all the backlash, the NCAA has now amended the Rich Paul rule. That it is no longer required of an agent to have a bachelor's degree to represent a player. Now, I'll be the first to admit I might be suffering from confirmation bias, but if this was really about race and about racism, I don't think the NCAA would change its rules. I think in actuality, the NCAA didn't have much to gain for this rule. So when the public backlash came, they amended it right away. Because what do they really get out of the initial Rich Paul rule? In no way did it help them get power. In no way did it help them get money. The only people that, in my view, that it really helped were other NBA agents. And because the NCAA was the one taking the brunt of the backlash and not the agents, the NCAA said, we want nothing to do with this. Now, they didn't fully get rid of the rule. They just said that a bachelor's degree is no longer necessary, which I think is a smart play by the NCAA. I've done a whole video on what could be seen as racism in the NCAA. And what I always like to say is that we gotta be careful when we say that things are racist. One of the reasons I say this is because repetition obscures meaning. The more and more you say something is racist, the less power that that word has. Now, if you didn't know, Rich Paul himself wrote an op-ed piece for The Atlantic that addressed this new rule. I'll leave a link for it down in the description. And in the piece, he talks about how all the rule does is create a barrier for people who aspire to be agents. And 6 hours after that op-ed piece was released, the NCAA amended the rule. Again, there's only one reason why you amend the rule. It's because the backlash is outweighing the benefit of the rule you just implemented. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not calling the NCAA innocent bystanders here or like they had nothing to do with this. But I believe that the NCAA was getting pressured or lobbied or whatever you want to call from other places, perhaps NBA agents, to make a rule like this. And once everything started about them being racist or about them preventing other people from being able to advance, of course they amended the rule. I think that if the NCAA actually believed that this was the right thing to do, they would not amend the rule. I mean, the NCAA has not been paying players forever, and they've never changed from that stand. If this rule benefited them and their bottom line, they would have never amended it. This is why, again, I believe that the rule never really benefited the NCAA in the first place. It benefited other people. I just find it hard to believe that within a few days, the NCAA's business model was affected so much that they had to go back and amend the rule. I just don't think they really wanted anything to do with this. But hey, what do you guys think about this? Why do you guys think that the NCAA amended this rule? If they really believed in it, why wouldn't they just keep the rule? Or are you like me? Do you believe that perhaps they were being lobbied or persuaded by other entities to make the rule in the first place? But hey, like the video if you like it, subscribe if you're new. Comment down below, get in the conversation. Go follow me on Twitter. I'll be over there talking to myself. And I'll see you next time. Peace.
you.